the enchanted crystal arrow. It nails him in the face. Insult to injury.
Alright, Wonder. Now gates it in. It is a counter gank, but the flame splitter on the harpoons. First blood to Origin. And H2K applying pressure. Exile, flash, and goes to the available. The stun finds its target. Here comes the Anchors.
And they're going to roll more behind Cabs to see if they can finish him off. There's a quick flash, but they follow it right over the wall, completely isolated, and Maxmore gets his first kill of the game.
Coming to you live at our final day of competition for the week. And tonight, the battles between Group A and Group B continue. Earlier, H2K and Roccat were setting up on stage for our first match of the evening, as we see them taking to the stage there. Odoamne heading the troops, a happy Jankos and a happy February, and also Betsy and Roccat setting up, probably giving the final notes. Hello, everyone. I'm EpicSkillshot supporter, and joining me is Martin the Fisho. Lunga, I just need you today. You're going to break it all down.
Okay, fine. I'm okay with that. I'm also pretty okay with the games from yesterday. I actually think they're very enjoyable to watch, so hopefully we get some good ones today.
Yeah, definitely. Looking back at what we saw yesterday as a cross-group play continued, the Misfits, they looked dominant against Splyce, taking the match 2-0. I expected it to be 3 games. You didn't.
Of course not. I mean, easy to say in hindsight that we all knew Misfits would be the heavy favorites, but honestly, they play fantastic League of Legends right now. I think they're exceeding expectations coming into the split. We knew they were going to be a good team, but we didn't expect them in week 4 to look like one of the best teams in Europe. Like individual players, late game shot calling, it's all there.
Especially the improvement from weeks 1, 2 to 3 and 4 is something that we hadn't expected out of them. On the other side, Splyce not showing up that much. The Fisho, have Splyce reached their ceiling?
I think if they play like this in week 7 or 8, then we can say 100% yes, they have. But right now, a little bit too early, maybe in the split. I think we can question a lot of things about these guys here. Maybe what they're showing is that last split was just a much weaker European split, and that's why they were able to get 2nd place. But again, I think that's also a little bit too early to kind of call them out there and say they are actually not good enough to be a top team. They have issues, synergy, communication, individual play even. A lot of stuff they need to work on, and it's actually a shame watching this team play like this.
Oh, that is a heavy judgment from the Fisho. If that doesn't make you clean your act up, Splyce, what will? Following that matchup, Fnatic, they took out Vitality 2-1. It was a bit of a struggle. It wasn't pretty, but Roccat came onto the team, and did he fix all of Fnatic's problems?
Every single one. I mean, they won, right? So he fixed all of it. I think Roccat did fine. He did his job. I don't think he was that important when it came down to how Fnatic were winning games. So very clear that just replacing Amazing is not going to make Fnatic a super team instantly. All in all, though, he had a fine performance. Fnatic, they get the victory. I think the 3rd game was very, very shaky and could have gone both ways. But a win is a win.
A win is a win. Vitality could have said the same. They at least won one of the games. And we gotta say, GBM in the mid lane looked okay. Nuketook on support, surprisingly, did quite well.
I mean, yeah, Vitality coming into this, it looks like a mess. You know, they're making changes. Mid laner becomes support. One of the best performing players was Nuketook in the mid lane, but they moved him to support. He did fine down there, especially in the 3rd game. GBM Xerath, we loved it. However, the macro game, I loved it at least. I was like hoping he was actually going to carry the game because he's playing Xerath and no one else is doing that. But Vitality, it's just, they have so many things they still need to work on. I'm not sure more roster changes is going to help them. They need time, but you don't really have a lot of time because they're already sitting outside of playoffs. Luckily for them, Splyce are also losing just above them.
I love your positive approach. Well, he's playing Xerath. We don't see that. Not because maybe he can't play anything else.
He almost carried. He just got caught a few times in fights. He didn't run cleanse. There were a few things we could highlight.
It was entertaining. It was also a day of Group A victories yesterday with the Misfits and Fnatic cementing their places in 2nd and 3rd respectively, as to be expected from week 4 from the games that we had on our plates. But then here, of course, nothing changed in 1 and 2 yesterday.
No, because Splyce and Vitality both lost, so there's not going to be any sort of changes here. Unicorn still 1st place, undefeated.
Still, Splyce has to beat themselves up because they're needing those wins to catch up to H2K.
And I guess maybe if you are Splyce and Fnatic, as long as the teams under you keep losing as well, you are keeping your playoff spot. You just don't enter a playoff as a favorite.
And there is a big chance of that today, as later we will see if G2 can maintain their perfect record when they take on Group B, bottom placed Origin. And Well, today can go one of two ways, as expected, or a huge upset.
Yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say that G2 and H2K are pretty heavy favorites coming into this. That being said, in Europe, we've had these upset days before where suddenly the top teams just can't play League of Legends and the bottom teams show up big time. Could happen. I think it's more realistic that we get the 2-0s for H2K and G2.
So, as looking at the league from, if we take a step back, you would want the better teams to absolutely smash the bottom tier teams for kind of the credibility, or not?
I mean, you want your top teams to be consistent, to be like a strong region, but sometimes it is fun seeing the upsets. So I don't know, it depends if you want entertainment or if you want the consistent top teams.
6 games, I'll take it. But first up tonight, Roccat will be up against Group B's second place H2K. H2K obviously have their eye on that first place, on that bye, but Unicorns of Love are sitting there. They played G2 on the first day of the week. They lost, but we can say it was a good showing from them overall.
It was a match between two really good teams in Europe right now. We're still early on in the split, so it's acceptable that you have some issues that you need to work on. Good macro game overall in this series, a little bit slower than maybe people have expected from some other games. We saw good individual outplays from H2K, from Odoamne especially up in the top lane. And I think we have to highlight the bot lane as well.
Definitely.
Fantastic to see how they're now working better with the team, but also just the individual performance by Nuclear and Che.
And it was a big question, will the communication falter? The first couple of weeks wasn't running, but here, Nuclear and Che, they were up against Sven and Mithy, and they smashed them.
They destroyed them in lane. I've never seen Mithy feed that much. He died 14 times in that series alone. Most of it came, because Nuclear would just snipe him on Jhin multiple times.
17 kills over the series.
Yeah, see the stats. 17 kills for him, 28 assists for Che as well. They barely died, even though they lost 2 games. Like, very impressive stats for this H2K bot lane. And if Nuclear and Che can keep doing this, then it's just going to give H2K another lane they can carry from. And they already have mid and top lane and jungle. So that can make H2K a very scary team.
They're looking absolutely scary. Even with a loss, you don't often say that, but if there's one team you're going to lose against, for now, it's fine if it's G2.
Sure.
Further in the split, you would, of course, like to beat them. But they look like a solid top 4 team, rather, in Europe, which is where they want to be.
Which is where they want to be. Like, Unicorns of Love, G2, H2K, and Misfits right now seem to be a step above everyone else. H2K just got to prove it right now. Obviously, they're playing a bottom team, and it should be fairly easy for them.
We'll see if that happens. That is enough from us. Let's send it over to our casters for a look at their opponents on the other side of the rift, Roccat.
Thank you very much, Shox. And hey, guys, I'm Daniel.